Hey, welcome to episode 17 of Better Radio. I'm here with my brother Brian. Brian, how are you doing? Introduce our guests.
Doing quite well. Of course, this is the second part of our two-part. Try that again. This is the second part of our two-part podcast with Dylan from Wicked Good Show and Ben Sharron, also soon from Wicked Good Show, and you know him from the Overwatch League Report.
Yeah, I definitely did that. That was the thing I did, and I actually completed it.
It was great. Brian didn't complete it. Brian bailed like halfway through the season, but Ben, you held strong. You covered the whole league with Timur after I left. You did do one episode where you just talked about Succession, though.
Well, no, we talked about Succession for like the first 5 minutes, and then we talked about the actual games, which mattered. So,
absolutely. So, Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you brought up Succession. It's the best show on television.
Okay, let's start there. Why is Succession the best show on television?
It's the best show on television as long as you don't care about liking the characters.
Okay.
And since I care more about the characters being interesting than being good, I think that it's the best writing. It's the best storytelling. It's very compelling. The season 1 finale was fantastic. The season 2 finale was fantastic. All of season 2 was just like a step up in my opinion. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Very cool. Very cool. So, like I said, you host the Overwatch League Report. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Wicked Good Everything?
Sure.
Story.
I think how it started was Brian messaged me one day and said we're gonna start a new YouTube channel thing called Wicked Good Everything, and we're gonna do it right this time. And he was like, you want to join up? You want to be on board with this? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be on board with this.
Selling a bill of goods immediately to you. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, I like hearing myself talk. I like talking about things that are interesting to me. So it seemed like a pretty easy sell.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting because a lot of people that I have on who I've worked with in the past are from Lastly Good Ones. But there was, in the middle of Lastly Good Ones and Wicked Good Everything, we worked together on a reality television recap podcast for Previously On Network.
Yeah, so I know that you worked with the guy who headed up that podcast, Zach, to do the Survivor recaps. There was a lot of CBS reality.
Yes.
And then the two of us talked about The Amazing Race, which you had seen a combined total of like 4 seasons of.
Yeah, all for the podcast. I was not an Amazing Race. I'm a super fan of Survivor. People know that. Generally about me, Amazing Race I had never really watched before, so there's a lot of you leading and me just like there for quips.
And I think we also covered the brilliant sci-fi reality show Opposite Worlds.
Opposite Worlds. Holy shit, I forgot.
What is Opposite Worlds?
Oh,
Ben, tell Dylan about Opposite Worlds.
You are not. You're
the greatest reality train wreck of all time.
It would probably have to be the greatest reality train wreck of all time. I would agree. So, Opposite Worlds. The premise of the show is there's the future and the past. There are contestants who are living in the future, which is like ultimate, like luxury, all this advanced technology.
An Xbox One that doesn't work because they didn't do the day one update and there was no internet at the house.
Well, this is details. They had really nice white wardrobes. All right, they had his and her sinks in the bathroom. All kinds of. They had a television screen, I think, at least one.
Yep.
And then they had people living in the past. So they were living as cavemen, and they were basically like starving and crying in the corner. And that was probably the better part, just watching people like suffer in that way.
It was, the way I like to pitch it is like half the house was in Big Brother, half of the house was in Survivor. And then what's the twist?
Well, the twist is the first episode they had a challenge where...
No. There's a giant glass wall where they can see each other. So the people in luxury can watch the people suffer, try to make like
the more important twist.
Get food.
The more important twist is that in the first episode.
Is that Bin Laden was in the cave with them?
It was filmed entirely in Dylan's basement.
It's a little throwback to last week's episode.
Half of the people lived in Dylan's basement, and half of them lived in Pakistan.
That explains so much. Okay.
and there was a wall in between. But yeah.
So the first episode.
The first episode, they opened with possibly the greatest, the most well-conceived challenge in the history of reality television.
It was great.
Where they did jousting on an elevated platform with cattle prods.
Nice.
Cattle prods are tasers.
They're
giant
Yes.
tasers.
Yes. Okay.
and it went very well.
They're
There was
like 20 feet off the ground.
yeah.
Was this on Cinemax? What channel was
This
this?
is on
Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
Okay.
And it went smooth as butter. The first, I think it was the second or third round. The second round.
Yeah.
As you can expect, this when you're jousting with cattle prods on a 20-foot tall platform, this guy got knocked off. He got fucking yeeted off of the platform, and he broke his whole fucking leg.
Just right away, like 15 minutes into the pilot,
Yep.
a contestant is being taken out of the show for horrifically breaking his leg. And,
I take it this was only one season.
Yeah.
It barely made it through the first season.
It barely made it, yeah. At a certain point, they eliminated like 6 contestants at once.
Yeah, they
'Cause
realized
they were like, fuck this, we just need to end this fucking show.
They realized about halfway through that they didn't like the show. They weren't eliminating contestants fast enough to actually end the show on time, so they changed the rules.
So they changed it from having to like mortally wound these people to somehow getting them off the show.
I mean,
So like the idea was like
Leadership right
there
there.
were 2 challenges each episode. The 2 face off. The winning team got to live in luxury. The losing team had to nominate one of their people to face off against one of the other team in an elimination challenge. The elimination challenge person gets eliminated. They did that for like 2 weeks after the one guy broke his leg. Because they, honestly, no pun intended, big break. They got rid of a contestant before having to eliminate anyone. So they do 2 weeks. Obviously, the team that's starving is losing every challenge.
Every
and
single
never
one.
gets to live in the life of luxury and always has their people get knocked out. And then after they eliminated 3 people, they added like 4 people to the cast. So now they're behind schedule by a week, even having been gifted. And then near the end of the show, they just eliminated 6 people like randomly.
And you
good.
guys, you guys did episodes on this?
I think at least a few.
I think we covered at the very least towards the end. We covered the finale. I think we talked about it. The winner of the season, possibly the greatest winner in reality television history.
Yeah, a roided out Brooklyn firefighter.
Yep.
He was like just a complete jock, like meathead. Dude, he won. His nickname was Frank the Tank.
Yep, beast mode Frank.
Yeah,
That's good.
it was incredible. Best show ever. I love it.
Yeah.
I will always treasure that fucking reality television show for
Yeah.
as long as I live.
I'm sure that is the most anyone's ever talked about that show.
No,
Actually, not.
Jenny Nicholson,
Yep.
the YouTuber, did like a 45-minute recap of the whole season in depth about it. It was amazing.
I've never heard about it
Until just now.
That's probably for the best, but you should definitely go back and watch it.
Did you guys ever watch not to totally just turn this into my episode again?
No,
Did you guys ever watch the reality TV show where it was like these kids that got
Kid
sent back?
Nation.
Yes.
Yes.
And they got sent back to like the old west. And they
Oh
had,
yeah, I love Kid
Oh, I'm
Nation.
familiar
Ben,
with
ben
it,
and I
yeah.
have probably watched every reality
Holy
show
shit! You're the
that's
first
ever
2
been
people I've
made.
talked to that have
Really?
known Kid
Oh, dude,
Nation.
dude, we're
This
like
is their jam, dude.
yeah, we're
Asking
like
questions.
2 of the authorities in the world on reality
I-
television shows.
So
Kid
that is
Nation.
Kid
badly.
Nation.
It was like these kids, they got selected and they were put in like the old west, and it was just kids, and they basically had to like figure out how to survive in the old west.
The only way for them to get eliminated was for them to be so emotionally devastated by the experience for them to like quit.
It didn't have to be like severe. Like,
Yeah.
Oh no, there were multiple kids that had like visible emotional breakdowns.
obviously, yeah. You just
In hindsight, being produced by Epstein was a little weird.
Yeah, this is terrible. Who the
It was-
fuck greenlit this?
It was the greatest show ever.
Yeah.
That was I don't know why I randomly brought that up, but for some reason you brought up that show and I thought about
Yep.
Kid Nation.
What was
Very
the girl's
interesting.
name? Oh my god, the bratty one.
Oh, dude,
Who
I'm
became a
not gonna
meme.
remember the names.
Oh my
I just
god,
remember
the girl who wanted to kill the chickens and like got off and killing the chickens. Oh, that was so good.
To show you how old that is, I watched that on like the iPod Video Nano one day at
Yeah, that
school.
was 2009, I think.
I
So
paid,
about 10
like-
years ago now.
I paid like $3.99 on iTunes to be able to watch like the finale of it.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good idea in 2009.
it was a good idea. It was fantastic television.
Yeah, the ratings were
Yeah.
mediocre, so they didn't bring it back.
Remember-
But
They had like
No,
they had
no,
like town halls of people.
oh yeah,
together.
They have
Kid
to
Nation,
elect
wow.
like leaders among them.
I remember back when Cracked was good. He had a guest writer who was on Kid Nation, and he said that a lot of times the producers would straight up just fuck with them. Like they would just throw trash into the streets and then be like, "Why the fuck is there so much trash everywhere, kids? Why are you so irresponsible?"
Wasn't there a thing where they were trying to like push the kids to get into showmances as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are
It's
like
really
14 and
inappropriate
15-year-old kids, and
Sounds
they're
like-
trying.
Like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just
probably
when
why they
they're
didn't.
attacked
Yeah,
all the-
That's
No,
probably why they put it in a western town instead of an island. Because if they put it on an island, people would be like,
This is
"Did
Lord of
we
the Flies.
just make Lord of the Flies
Yeah.
in real life?"
Entertainment.
Can I hit you with another reality show? I
Oh, for
watched?
sure. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys watch this. I don't remember what channel it was on. It was basically like these people were supposed to live in a post-apocalyptic world.
The Colony.
The
Colony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
watched
familiar
the
with
Colony.
that one.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
watched
watched
that.
that.
Me and
I watched
Brian
that
are
one.
like, you say 3 words, and we're like, yeah, we watched that.
Dude,
Yep.
so
Oh yeah.
I completely forgotten the name.
Yeah, I
Kid
love
Nation.
reality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
And
that
actually
was
Colony.
on.
I watched
that was
that
on.
one, actually.
Oh my god, which channel was that on?
It
That was on Discovery Channel, right?
Yeah,
was
it was
Discovery, yeah.
Discovery.
That's
Yeah.
where I learned how to like filter water
Yeah,
because they had to
Oh,
create
yeah,
water
education.
filter
Them like
with the charcoal. And
Yeah,
they put
the-
it in a barrel. Yes.
there was a where they like attach the batteries together. What's that called? When you like
make like a.
yeah. Like when you take a bunch of batteries and you connect them together to make them more powerful.
I'm not smart enough
got
to
a
tell you
word.
what the answer is, but
Generator?
yes.
Like,
It's got a word. It's a word for it. I don't
Right.
know. I'm not.
where's my dad?
Yeah.
When we need him.
All I remember about that show
You're
is that they would
connecting them.
have
Yeah.
fake
good.
like marauders
Uh-huh.
come and
Oh, yeah,
attack the
that's-
place.
Yep.
And I was like 12 years old. I was like, oh fuck, like,
Yeah,
these people might
I
die.
do.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I loved that show.
Oh, so
the
good.
Colony and
That
Kid
was sweet.
Nation. 2 names I didn't realize until you just brought them up.
Eddie, want to hit us with any more?
Yeah. Keep going.
I think that's it. That's
is
all I
fun.
get. Oh no, Help 'em Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Do you guys remember that show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
Sanjaya
One
was on it.
season, I remember it was Sanjaya was the big one. Heidi and
Spencer.
were on it.
Yep.
Lou Diamond Phillips was on it.
Because they all had their own
That's the
reality.
Hills, isn't it?
Yeah, it was him. It was them two on it. It was like they were on. It was basically like Survivor.
They were also on Marriage Boot Camp. Yeah. And Big Brother UK.
Sure.
Yep.
And those are like the 3 out there reality shows I can remember, like off the top of my head. Yeah, Help 'em Celebrity Get Out of Here. You're the first 2 people I've ever talked about with
Oh
this
yeah,
show.
it was good. I mean, want to even? This is the
You wanna talk
strangest. This is the one that I'm not sure is real, and I maybe just hallucinated it over a summer.
Sure.
The real Gilligan's Island.
I have not heard of that one. That
I've
one's-
heard of it. I've heard
It
of
was like Survivor. They had 2 teams. Each person filled a role. So like there was a professor, a captain, a Gilligan. Each episode, one of the roles would face off in an elimination challenge until they made it to the end, where they had just a cast from the 2 teams
Right.
together, and then they would vote each other off like Survivor style. And there's like immunity challenge, and they vote each other off by having
Cool.
like
Thank
I'll
you.
take it.
voodoo style dolls of the various characters.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
I gotta look this one up.
We should do it and do an
Yeah.
episode of
We could do the same thing with like Solitary.
Solitary. Was actually really fucking good.
Solitary is probably the best fucked up social experiment ever put to television.
MILF Hunters.
No, but
Pretty good.
I think this. I
That show.
think that's a web exclusive.
Yeah.
It's a real show.
On Pornhub, yes.
It's good.
I was gonna say that'd be sweet if it was just actual reality.
Yep. MILF Hunters, like that reality show where it's like the realtors like bang the guys coming to look at the house. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's like Cash Cab, but
Apparently, Cash Cab is still on.
No,
I think it is.
wow, what a horrific.
I think
I don't want to go into it, but there is a site that does do, I believe, videos when they do drive-bys. If you catch my drift.
we got your drift.
Taxi Cab Confessions on HBO. That was another big reality show when I realized the parental passcode of my DirecTV. Remember that? Yeah.
It's a big day.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yes.
You know.
That's great. The Colony,
Yep.
Taxi Cab Confessions, MILF Hunter, and
The
and
trifecta.
Do you
Yes.
watch? Do
The
you watch
Holy
all
Trinity.
the old like Tila Tequila? You watch
Shot Love,
that?
right?
Shot
And
Love.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I Love New York. Flavor of Love. Yep.
Yeah, those are on at the same time. One
I
after
was
another.
I was very big into Real World.
It was the one with
Road Rules
Brett
Challenge.
Michaels.
Yeah, the challenge is still like on and
Yeah.
honestly probably bigger than it's ever been.
They still have like the same people from.
Yeah, a lot of the
back then.
same people are on it,
I still
and a
like
lot
some
of Big
real
Brother
life
players now.
Surreal Life was good. Yep.
Surreal Life was really good. Yeah.
Back when MTV was
Yeah, when you had
On basically-
Next was my
Next
shit.
was so good.
Yeah.
Room
Got
Raiders.
laid, I remember that. That was pretty sweet.
yes, yeah, when Peter Brady got married. Room Raiders. Basically, when you got home from school, that was on until like, your parents got home.
There was like
Did you say
for
Womb Raiders?
Room Raiders. Yeah, that was
No,
a
I
good
thought he
show.
said Womb Raiders.
Also on Pornhub.
No,
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 that's also
No, that's the that's the Pornhub one.
Yeah.
That's kind of a great name, Womb Raiders.
Oh man, no.
Copywriting that.
When Survivor got super popular and then it just spawned a ton of reality shows. That's like the golden era of TV as far as I'm concerned.
I would agree.
Like it's fucking amazing. There's so many bad ideas for reality shows that just had like 100 episodes and they're all shitty but somehow amazing because they're like a time capsule of the mid 2000s. Like
Some would say The Sopranos. You say Survivor. is the
I
golden era of TV.
no, I don't even say Survivor. I say all the shitty reality television shows Survivor spawned.
I think
Lost.
Lost. Yes, Lost. Also another great porn.
Yeah, Lost probably doesn't exist without Survivor.
No, absolutely not. No.
Damn. Got that to blame for it too.
Wow. How dare you?
I completely lost track of what I was going to say. That Lost. Now I'm thinking about Lost. What was I say? No, in
Ben and I hosted a Lost podcast for like 5 episodes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we've talked for years about doing another one
Oh, we'll bring it back.
eventually. Yeah.
It was called We Had to Go Back.
we had said we were going to do a Watchmen podcast, and I was very skeptical on it being good. And apparently, it's good, but we're not too
I
late to
love
the
it.
boat.
Liam hates it.
Not what I said.
Ben's
I
said it was a
warm
bad
on it.
show.
I
Didn't
watched.
exist.
I've only seen the first. I haven't seen the third episode on purpose. And
Ben's like, I just didn't watch the 3rd episode because I didn't enjoy my experience.
Did you guys like the Watchmen movie?
it was fine.
See, I'm a very anti Zack Snyder guy. So.
I love the book. I love the book. I did enjoy the movie when it was faithfully done to the book. I don't think the show. I don't know. I got some problems with the
Yeah.
show. There are some interesting like seeds that I'm probably not gonna watch for. I don't really care.
So my only hope for it, and I've only seen the first episode as well, is that Lindelof, Brian's all-time favorite show, Leftovers.
Uh-huh.
I'm
almost on The Leftovers.
I was very out on The Leftovers at first, and then I kept watching, and eventually I was very in on The Leftovers. So I'm hoping that because I'm kind of like on the in between. I think Watchmen's fine, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of potential that Lindelof can do no wrong because he was lost basically after the first season.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that was all wrong though. The show ended like shit.
I 100% agree. The finale was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh boy.
But they
Difference between Watchmen and
Also, yeah, dude, I think that guy. I thought the
You gotta hold me back, Brian.
dude
I
that's
know.
the ending of Lost is
Ben
not
and I
good.
are huge. The
Lost
finale
ending is the
apologists.
ending that the creators came up with so they could answer all the questions that made every. But
That's
making
like
them
the
all
opposite of the.
dude, they
the
made them
complaint
all
that everyone
irrelevant.
else has
They made them
about
all
it.
irrelevant.
So
It
I guess
was-
they
what?
had
they made
had,
any
Liam,
question you had irrelevant.
I would
And
like
it was
you.
like okay,
No,
those
no,
are,
I would like you
that's
to
logical.
explain the finale of Lost to me. Just to make sure you understand it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude! It was like a decade ago, and I knew it sucked then.
they're all in purgatory. They died.
That's incorrect. Well, I mean,
the
they all died
idea that
eventually.
the
but-
idea that like they die and then they can move on. I got that. That was pretty in your face. I don't know. It didn't like. It's all just like a battle of good versus evil and shit. Like what am I missing here? What are the obvious?
I
things
just want to
I'm
make
gonna
sure
miss?
that you don't think that they were dead the whole time.
No, I thought it was purgatory. I got that. I thought it was pretty. That's what the whole fucking church thing was, and then they were
The
going off in the
island's not
church.
purgatory.
The island's not purgatory, but is the island real? What is it?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
So I thought they were dead the whole time.
Okay. Well, see, that's what the people. See, this is
I also like
all of the
this
complaints
doesn't
about
make
the
it
finale.
that much better. If it like that's the difference, that doesn't make it that much better. It just makes it seem like they needed an ending for a show that they didn't have an ending to, and it was like, oh, what do we make it have? What do we make it about everything always?
I feel like there has been one
Such a bunch of
person that I've
narcissistic
ever.
fucking writers.
There's
who
been
no
one
said no
person
to.
I've ever encountered who both hated the ending of Lost and understood it.
Right.
So all fairness, I've never rewatched it. I have not seen Lost
Yeah, you
since it was
should.
live.
It's really
No,
good.
it's great television. I just thought I think the ending's not that good. I was on board though the whole time. I watched every episode. So.
I always say Lost is the most important television show. Like that, the only reason all our good TV shows exist right now is because
What
of Lost.
I think the premiere of that was the
I'd say The
most-
Sopranos.
was the highest budget for any TV show ever was the premiere episode.
Yeah, the pilot has the highest budget for
Yeah,
pilot.
they bought a fucking plane, didn't they? They like destroyed it.
They
Yeah.
destroyed it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's fun. Who's the biggest? Evangeline Lilly is probably the biggest star to come out of that too. So.
Now,
I mean, well,
Dominic
Dominic
Monaghan.
Monaghan
Monaghan-
was slightly
Monaghan was
was,
a bigger
was already
star
in Lord
when
of the
it
Rings
started.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was already in the Lord of the Rings, right? Yeah, so I don't know.
Um,
Good for him. God,
yeah, I
love
would
Dominic
say
Monaghan.
in terms of like movie success, Evangeline Lilly.
Because she was in The Hobbit
the
and
fucking Avengers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
She's in the yeah.
She's in the biggest movie of all time.
Good for her.
Has a fun scene in it too.
Thought she was great as Kate.
Oh
Lost,
yeah, she's
so,
incredible.
yeah.
I love Lost, man. Such a good
I had a
show.
girlfriend in middle school I called Freckles.
That's good.
Did
Oh,
she
wow.
watch Lost?
I was her Sawyer.
That's good.
I like
No, this chubby kid with like a mop top was Sawyer.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's love, bro.
Wherever you are, you know who you are. Shut up. Shut up, Frank.
If you're still listening, shout out Freckles.
Jesus, that's funny.
Oh man, that's awesome.
No,
But yeah, Ben. So there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, you covered the Overwatch League for us on the
boy.
channel. We're not going to talk about China. We talked about that. They just had the World Cup,
That's true.
and
Yes.
the USA team won. And I think this is like one of the first times
Yeah, they fucking
an
dominated.
American team won like a major esports championship. Can you?
At least in Overwatch at the very least. Like, in most esports, South Korea has been dominant, and in Overwatch, that's been the case as well. South Korea has been dominant for pretty much the entirety of Overwatch. And yeah, this past Overwatch World Cup, the U.S. did it wasn't really close. Like the U.S. was basically like in a tier of their own.
Yeah, it was like if you ever watch basketball at the Olympics, that's what it was like.
Yeah.
Aren't colleges like now developing
Yeah.
like, teams for
It's
college where you
awesome.
go
I
there
love
and
it,
you
like-
play?
Yeah.
Because I remember I had saw within the past couple of years that the NBA, the Celtics had their own 2K team.
Yeah, they have their own
Where
league.
there was a draft. Each team drafted their own players, and each player plays that position in the game,
Yeah.
which is like 2019. Holy shit,
Yeah. Dude,
Jesus
it's-
Christ!
It's really cool. Like esports has come a long way, and I think like Ben and I have been to both Overwatch League, World Cup, or
Overwatch League Grand
finals.
Finals. Yeah.
Super fun. We'll definitely, well, depending on how some certain stuff comes, provided I feel like it's okay.
I mean-
I want to go see Boston play when they're playing in
I
Boston.
already have tickets, so
Yeah,
I'm
so it's
going.
like- yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're big Overwatch League fans. Obviously, we made a show about it, and Ben covered all of the episodes
Yeah.
after I quit. Only because I had a lot of stuff to do.
Right,
If
right,
if
yeah.
it was only covering that, I would have stuck it through. But yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? Like Team USA
Yeah.
taking home the gold medal.
Definitely. I mean, to be fair, half of their starting squad were half of the starting squad for most of the season of the San Francisco Shock,
Yeah.
who just won the Overwatch League Grand Finals.
Dominant fashion.
Yeah, they were-
stomped.
It was
Vancouver.
It was not close. It was almost disappointing how one-sided that match was.
Yeah, well, yeah, we were driving home that night, so I was like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming home from Philly,
Right.
to New York to here.
In fairness, we probably should have flown, but you know.
We should've
What are
flown,
the
unfortunately.
what is like the crowd like at the?
Oh, it's
at
hype.
those
Yeah,
events?
they're very hyped.
Yeah, the people who like are big esports fans are like the same as any like big football fan, big basketball fan. They're just there. They know, pretty much everything about all the players. They're really excited to be there. And
Because I've seen like the videos of those events, and what was like the Fortnite one was it at MetLife Stadium or wherever it
oh
was?
yeah, the Fortnite World Cup that they just did a few weeks ago.
Like the crowd they're able to pull in with that is just fucking insane. Like I feel like you can never appreciate esports until you see a crowd at those events.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's so fun. Like I loved being around fellow nerdy people who are like into it. Like you said, it was a really hype experience. They had a really good halftime show this year, and last year fucking sucked.
What did they do with the halftime show?
Who's the artist?
They did Zed.
Oh, so they do like a legit like musical halftime
Yes.
show. Okay.
The last year in 2018, they had DJ Khaled.
I wasn't sure they did like.
And
Fucking awful.
that
I wasn't
was
sure they did
not
like
good.
Rock Band, and you just brought like the best rock band. Fucking played Rock Band.
No,
I didn't
they-
realize
they-
that one.
awesome.
They had Zed there, and Zed's like a big Overwatch fan, big Overwatch League fan, and so he's
Yeah, he crushed.
Yeah.
It was great.
The crowd wasn't like as hype as I would have liked them to be because I like
For
Zed
Zed,
music.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
I
but
think he was great.
yeah,
Like, I
he
didn't
put on a
really know
fantastic show.
him,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Do you guys ever see esports being where we have the like an esports like equivalent of red zone? Where like you have like a red zone. I guess this is like a weird example, but I guess the overall point is there. Where you have like a red zone where like there's like it switches in between like, oh, this guy in Fortnite he's in the final 2, switch to this.
Yeah.
I guess I just mean like popularity wise. That was
I
a
think
shitty
esports
example.
will get mainstream popular. I think the thing that holds it back is people wanting to expand stuff too quickly and trying to dump tons of money into stuff
Yeah.
to make it what sports is now. Like I feel like there's this bad culture where it's like, oh, we need to be competing with mainstream sports today.
Right.
Which I think they should slowly grow because that's how you lose a lot of money. And when people lose a lot of money, then they're not going to invest in the future. I think they need to slowly grow stuff rather than just trying to jump into it. Like, what do you think?
No, I agree. There's certainly a bubble right now in terms of the industry, just because there are a lot of people, especially in like the traditional sports scene, and then also just like VCs in the tech industry, who are dumping a lot of money into the industry without really fully understanding what they're doing because they just see, like, there's also kind of a discrepancy between esports and like video game as entertainment and like traditional streaming, so like streaming personalities, that sort of thing. And a lot of times those two things are conflated. And then on top of that, the reason that I was actually talking about Overwatch League, I was very skeptical about Overwatch League being successful in the first place because they were forcing it into a traditional sports model.
Yep.
And they were requiring such a huge upfront investment. I think it was like 10 million or 20
Something
million.
like that,
It's like
yeah.
some crazy number just to buy a team. And so I don't know if that's a sustainable model. I think that esports as an industry is definitely sustainable and will grow as well, though.
Yeah, so like a lot of the way traditionally it's been done is they'll have like open tournaments. So like say the four of us are good at Counter-Strike. We'll make a team. We'll go to tournaments. We'll win some tournaments. We'll qualify to be part of bigger tournaments and then eventually win. Whereas the Overwatch League tried to be like a traditional sports league.
Is somebody like is a personality like Ninja good for
He's a good
the esports community?
player compared. He's a good face for video games, and he's a good player compared to average. But there are a lot better Fortnite players.
I guess that's kind of what I mean. Like, do you think that him getting the popularity when he's not, I guess I'll say like the MVP of esports, like because he has to be the highest grossing.
Oh, he is.
Within
Yeah,
the
for
stream
sure,
and
yeah.
his endorsements, he
Business.
probably makes 100, close to hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
Like I saw something where before he got super popular, he was making like $400,000
A year,
a month.
No, I would estimate he makes probably 15 million a year.
Yeah.
How much do you think he made off the Mixer deal?
Off the Mixer deal, I think it's probably like a $20 million flat.
Yeah, something.
And then that's kind of my follow-up question to just turn this into my podcast.
No, dude, this is
I feel
why we
bad,
were
sorry.
doing it like
No.
this.
It's like the dispute between Mixer and Twitch.
Mixer's not going to be Twitch.
Yeah,
There's no way.
I think that Twitch, like with the backing of Amazon, I don't think Twitch can lose at this point. I think that they have established themselves too heavily. I think, yeah.
Even losing somebody like Ninja, who's probably
Doesn't
the
matter.
biggest esports star on the planet.
Like he's not an esports star. He's a streamer. Like he's
I
a
guess-
streamer personality.
So for someone like me, that's where part of the confusion comes in.
Right. That's
I
what I
see
was talking
Ninja
about.
and I'm like, this dude's the greatest
Player.
Fortnite player.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's just a great personality.
He's a... Yeah.
He's a
great
fantastic
brand.
Fortnite player. Yeah, and he's
Who's
his
the other
brand.
guy that Mixer got recently?
Stroud,
Stroud.
Shroud is legit
Yeah.
like one of the greatest
CS:GO players.
CSGO players, Apex Legends as well.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think both of those are equally as important for the overall popularity of esports and video games? With something like Ninja, where he's not the best, but he's the most popular, like does it benefit the esports community?
I think
Maybe tangentially.
was it like high tide raises all boats? I think
Yeah.
him getting more people aware of esports and aware of video games as a place where you can go and make like a living, I think that's good. I think Shroud and Ninja are very different because Ninja is more of a personality. He's great. He's a former Halo 3 professional player. He's very talented. For a normal person, he is better than like we would be.
Yeah.
Maybe not Liam. Liam's like
I was dirty.
he could be
I
a
was
professional
dirty.
gamer.
Yeah, I was really
If you
good.
want to, but for me, he's much better than I am. And but he's not a top tier talent. He's just really likable. He runs a family friendly brand. He's a savvy businessman. Him and his wife like have gotten him opportunities outside, and he's somehow become like the face of gaming for the mainstream.
Because like he got, I think it was the ESPN magazine.
Yeah, he was on the cover
got
of
on the cover,
ESPN magazine.
He's in commercials.
He's in
on,
commercials.
on
He's
network
on
TV.
Ellen. Like, he's a big deal. But Shroud, like I watch Shroud because he's just so amazing at games. Like he's unbelievably talented, and a lot of his streams are just him sitting there, like not even talking to the camera, just like clicking heads, and it's just like more of a spectacle. Whereas Ninja's like a personality.
Does it?
If that makes sense.
Does it? Who would you say is the best? I guess we'll say Overwatch. Who's one of the best Overwatch?
I think Sinatra is probably the best in the
Sinatra,
world right
yeah.
now.
So would it frustrate you that Ninja's getting more exposure than he is?
No.
I guess at least to the mainstream. At least to the mainstream.
Not. I don't.
Because I have no idea who that is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about. Well, first of all, Overwatch is like a big game, but it also has kind of a niche audience.
Yeah, it's not Fortnite.
And
Fortnite's unreal. I've never seen anything like Fortnite in terms of popularity.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
it is starting to wane a little bit, but it's still probably the second most popular video game of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
What, like Tetris?
Minecraft, I think, is the most popular
Right.
in terms of content creation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that, like I mentioned before, there's kind of a discrepancy, and this is kind of something that's missed by a lot of people who are not ingrained in the scene and people who are investing in the scene without really understanding fully what they're getting themselves into, is there is a difference between streaming as a personality and performing as an esports player.
Right.
And some people are able to do both. Like Shroud is able to do both, or he was a very successful esports player, and he's kind of parlayed that into a streaming career that has taken off and got himself a pretty hefty deal from Mixer, from what we can assume. But I think that it's just kind of two different lanes in the same highway, right? So Sinatra is not. Like, Sinatra streams, he gets maybe, 3K viewers on average when he's playing. And I think that, that's probably what you would expect from somebody who's not a big forward personality, but who is at the top of the game that he's playing. I think that for him, that's kind of that's all he really needs. Like, he's getting the money he wants to sustain himself from his professional contracts. And after he retires from the Overwatch League or whatever, he could probably parlay that into a modest streaming situation that will sustain him throughout, the next 5-10 years at least. So.
Right. Because he famously signed a very big contract, right? On the San Francisco Shock.
I don't know what his contract is off the top of my
I
head.
think it was like 150,000.
Yeah, it's 150K Andy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
People give him a lot
he's
of shit when he
Mr.
wasn't top
150K.
tier.
Yeah. So, but I mean, obviously, it's worth it. I think that, like we said, I think he's the best.
I mean, he
Overwatch player, and
he was
he's-
on the San Francisco Shock.
Yeah.
He won the championship. He won MVP.
Yeah,
right?
he was the Overwatch League 2019 MVP, and then he was he just won on Team US the Overwatch League World Cup, and he was the Overwatch League World Cup MVP.
Yeah. So
Like,
he's unreal.
He's the best.
Yeah. And he's a Zarya main. Well, at least he
He
was
was.
in one meta. Which is Zarya's. Well, I probably when I play him more of a Lucio main nowadays, but back for a while, I was Zarya main. It's favorite character. But yeah, man, I think it's an interesting conversation. You wanted to talk about Hearthstone. What you say?
Yeah, talking again because you brought up the U.S. winning the Overwatch World Cup as kind of a historical moment, but even coming back around and ignoring the
the
China stuff, and talking just about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament that just concluded at BlizzCon, and the winner of that being a player called Lion, who is a female Chinese player, and I believe, from what I've read online, don't come after me if this isn't true.
Right.
I believe she is the first female player to win a major esports event in the history of esports. So
That's pretty cool.
it's very cool.
Is she pro Hong Kong or pro China?
Did you ask?
I mean, she's a Chinese citizen,
Yes.
from my understanding. But
That
yeah.
was like canceled.
But talking about, you mentioned earlier about like open cups versus the kind of Overwatch League model where
Right.
it's more just like trying to build these brands around players and around teams. So with Hearthstone Grandmasters, the whole idea of it was to kind of go more in terms of just like bringing on big personalities, because before that, a lot of Hearthstone esports, the viewership was low because it was based on open tournaments, and there were a lot of people coming in who were less known, and so people weren't going to tune in if they didn't like really have a connection with these players.
Right.
If the big names that they were familiar with from streaming or from just like the esports scene in general weren't playing. So Hearthstone Grandmasters kind of turned that on its head and said, we're only going to bring in people invite only.
Right.
And the thing about Lion was the Chinese portion of the, because in Hearthstone Grandmasters, each region kind of runs its own tournament, like as a mini league. And the Chinese league is actually the only one to have an open tournament aspect. And Lion was somebody who climbed up through the open tournament.
Right.
So it's like kind of historic in multiple senses, where it's like somebody who has put the work in, was kind of a no-name, climbing up through the open tournament bracket in the only region where it was allowed, and then also being the first female player to win a major event.
Right. Hey, man, we got some cool stuff happening on esports
Yeah.
right now. Anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here? Only because there's a train coming. This is
I don't know.
a
Any
great conversation, but-
any other questions you have? Liam has talked very little.
I haven't. I know. I was kind of just letting you guys go in on
Yeah.
that. I didn't have a lot to say about
You have any
esports.
questions?
I don't.
Any questions from me outside of esports?
What is
Yep.
your favorite movie?
You want to know?
time.
Yeah, I want to know what your favorite movie is. Honest to God,
My favorite movie is probably Nightcrawler.
Ooh, that's a good
Nightcrawler is a very good movie.
Interesting.
That's
You're
a
the
good
first person
answer.
I've ever heard say that. Interesting.
That's a good
It's
one.
really good.
I'm not saying that's a bad pick.
You
That's
just, you
just
just like Gyllenhaal, or
I mean, I liked his performance in it. for
yeah,
sure,
it's really good. It's
Yeah,
really,
it's
really
very good performance.
It's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah,
It was-
it's underrated.
It's,
I
yeah,
think.
I think
I'm
it
trying
is.
to.
I think
I
it
would
really is.
if you're watching this and you haven't seen Nightcrawler, go watch Nightcrawler.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the X-Men.
No.
Just
Have you-
know that.
What
you
is
guys-
what's your favorite video game of all time?
Probably Portal 2.
Oh Jesus, you're one of those people, dude. That game's not that good. Game is not that good. Portal
mean-
2 is so fine.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I beat the whole thing. It's oh god, it makes you feel dumb. It's its whole gimmick. It's got cute fucking writing.
Maybe-
like it's
maybe
the
it
Big
makes
Bang
you feel
Theory
dumb.
or something. It's I don't know. I'm not into it. I think Portal 2 is garbage. I think anyone that likes it is trash. I think
So thanks for coming on.
Portal 2.
But you
Liam for the first
hold on. You want to go back to talking about Nightcrawler?
Yeah. No, I'm fucking around. I don't know. I just thought Portal 2 it was too long. I just was on those. But if you liked the puzzles and if you were into that, then I can see why the length of it is good.
I think it was probably about the right length. I don't know.
Well, maybe your brain works at a much faster pace. It took me about 600 hours to beat that game. So, I don't know. I probably wasn't smart enough to get the story either. But I don't know. It's interesting. I just felt like when I was playing it, I felt like I wasn't getting it. I liked the first one because it was very straightforward and it was good. But I thought this one was like we're introducing new characters. I'm not really sure where this.
Introduced one new character, yeah.
But like yeah, isn't there only like 3 or something in the whole fucking game? That was the case. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But like new environments, you're introducing a ton of new mechanics, and it's just like okay, it's just like more puzzles, man. And I don't know. I'm not super into puzzles. I did it. I get it. But that's what you find fun because you're a fucking masochist and you like shit like that. You're being punished I get it. I play Dark Souls. That game just, you make it call yourself. It makes you call it daddy, and then you like it.
I mean, I think the story of Portal 2 is just better than Portal 1, but yeah.
I just remember it being like a little long in the tooth, and it just took a long time. There were like long hours of before anything interesting going on. But again, I was probably just an idiot, and I struggled too much.
Yeah, I think your issue is more about your genes than
It's definitely
with the game itself.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
It's almost certainly where everything originates, I would imagine. Portal 2, that's unfortunate. If you were to pick something other than Portal 2, let's get something relatable. What's another game?
I think Portal 2 is pretty well liked.
No, that's cool.
I've never played Portal 2.
Our fans aren't bad people, so give us a different game that you like that other people can relate to. My God.
Well, we'll save that for the next time. Come on.
All right,
Excuse me.
so
We're
stay
coming up
tuned.
on it. Ben,
Halo 2 is a
anything you
great
wanna-
answer. I love it.
anything you want to promote before we're out of here?
No, go watch all of Succession. Fantastic show, and then come back and tell me about how much you love Succession.
And don't.
Have you seen Barry?
Yeah, of course I've seen Barry. Barry is amazing as well.
Heard good things
I
about
think,
Barry.
I think Barry's better than Succession, but that's just me. I've never seen
Hot
Succession.
take, but I love Barry. I haven't seen.
But no, I think
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
no, of
All
course
right, well,
not.
guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you follow the channel on Twitter at WG Everything on Instagram.
Where is Amelia Earhart?
Portal 2 is not bad. Portal 2 is not a bad game.
On Twitch at
Thank you, Liam.
twitch.tv/where-you-get-everything. Ben, where can they find you online?
You can follow me on all platforms at Ben Sharron, BenSharron.
Don't. Where can they find you online?
DJ Cleverling on Twitter and on Letterboxd. Don't follow me on anything else.
Don't follow him on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Please don't.
Please don't.
Leo, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. Find me on Instagram. You can find me on Google Plus.
Nope, not anymore.
I'm a big Google Plus guy. Actually, that's where all my stuff's going through these days.
On Tinder.
No, actually not on Tinder. Don't do that. None of that. Never been for it. Grindr's a good way to stay in touch with close family. Damn straight. It's just you're not helping yourself. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? Not statistically, right? If you're just trying to cast the widest net possible, doesn't it make sense to get the 5 super likes, Ryan? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think anybody has ever matched with somebody and had a positive connection off of a super like. I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I haven't, but it doesn't mean other people haven't. And I also, a man has got a hope.
Whenever someone
Ben.
has super likes, isn't that just like psycho alert?
Yeah, that's definitely some serial rapist shit right there.
Always has crazy eyes every time.
We're still talking about Grindr.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Grindr's super like economy.
Anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at thefakeBMar. That's BMAR. Thank you guys so much for checking out the show, and we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Awesome.
Remember to super like Liam on Tinder.
Not on
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Jeffrey Epstein
Thanks
did
for
kill
watching,
himself.
guys.